We do have Donald Trump now calling for military action against protesters. We saw protesters tear gas yesterday to make way for a presidential photo op. I'd like to ask you what you think about that. And if you don't want to comment, what message do you think you're sending?
We all watch in horror and consternation what's going on in the United States. It is a time to pull people together, but it is a time to listen. It is a time to learn what injustices continue despite progress over years and decades. But it is a time for us as Canadians to recognize that we too have our challenges.
21 seconds of silence, Marco. What do you make of that?
Well, the most famous 21 seconds of dead air in Canada right now. You're not supposed to have silence on the air, but we have put that 21 seconds on a loop on every channel of the television, every radio station. It is, I think, one of these examples of something where it's what he's not saying that sends the real message. As I mentioned before, we're kind of stuck here in Canada where we know that we can't say anything that would ever damage the most important international relationship we have, that with the United States. And when we have things going on south of the border or controversial issues that our politicians are asked about, they really have to avoid at all costs saying anything that could ever then come back to hurt them. For a classic example would be that during the NAFTA renegotiation, any word that any politician said in Canada would be used as a pretext to slap tariffs on some major industry. And so I think that was exactly what was going through Trudeau's mind.
Were those 21 seconds spontaneous, or was that planned?
I think we're going to have to let everyone decide for themselves. But, the critics of Trudeau here in Canada have long said that the problem with him is he's all style and no substance, and that everything about him is very contrived. Everything about him is very planned. And if you're to believe those critics, you might think that he was anticipating a question along those lines and wanted to use those 21 seconds of silence to send a very strong message to everyone in Canada who I believe heard it very wide and clear that he can't even imagine what was going through Trump's mind and what would, how that could ever, he would love to be criticizing. And I think he did criticize with those seconds of silence. And it was a message Canadians heard, but that couldn't be used against us by Americans.